Hey everybody,
I'm Josh.
and I'm Ethan. Welcome back to the third episode of the Younger Half podcast. We're two 14-year-old boys from New Jersey who discuss, debate, and share insights on everything from history to politics, sports, current events, and more. Our goal is to provide an outspoken voice for the kids of our generation, as well as to voice our passionate and informative opinions on our current times. Follow us on Instagram at The Younger Half. To see more of our podcasts, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, at The Younger Half.
Let's get into it. Recently, in light of racist incidents, many athletes have said that they will not be standing for the national anthem, receiving lots of backlash from influencers throughout the world. Donald Trump, from their teammates, the list goes on. So which poses a very popular debated question now, is refusing to stand for the national anthem an appropriate way of protest? What do you think, Itan?
Right. So I think that it is definitely appropriate because, well, first things first is that many people are saying that, oh, they're not doing the right thing about protesting because they're not being peaceful. Like this past month, there's been riots and looting. So they're saying, so people are like the influencers that you're mentioning are saying that they're not peaceful. And then this is peaceful, and then they're saying it's not good. So from that standpoint, I just think it's a little ridiculous that even if they are peaceful, just kneeling, then why is it a problem? The other thing is that many athletes are saying that they're not protesting the United States. They're not protesting the flag. They're happy to be in this country. They're protesting that there's the police brutality and the racism. So it's not like that we hate America, everyone kneel. It's we want America to change for the better.
Right. So my thing on it, and what you said before, I think was a good point. Is that if it's peaceful, then why is it a problem? The problem is that, and like you're saying at the end there, that even though they're saying that they're happy to be in America, they're not protesting America. It doesn't matter what they say. It's what they're doing. They're actively protesting the anthem that represents our country. I understand that it's not. This is why I'm kind of torn on the subject. I don't have one opinion about it. Why they're protesting police brutality and all that. But at the same time, I just I don't know. It just doesn't really feel so right to me to protest the national anthem of your country.
Is it protesting though? Is kneeling really protesting?
Yes, it is deliberately protesting by not standing up. That it is deliberately protesting. Also, it just is. It is protesting. It's just not by not standing. It is a form of protest. I don't know how else to say it.
All right, I guess so.
So
But it's just that you keep saying that like they're protesting the flag and it's disrespecting the flag. But is it disrespect if it doesn't have anything to do with the flag?
that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't have a solidified opinion on the topic. Because I
Right.
understand where they're coming from and everything. I understand why they would do it and everything. But then on the other hand, to protest the flag, I that's another debate. Is that do you think it's protesting? I 100% think it is.
Well, I think that it is in a form of protest because it because they're not, I don't know, they're not doing anything. I have to look at the definition of protesting, but just kneeling or sitting down during the anthem, there's no law or anything that says. If you guys didn't hear, popular rapper, businessman, and record producer Kanye West announced he was running for president on Twitter. So, do you think that a person with the wealth and just I don't know how to say it, but the fame as Kanye West should be taking the stand as running as a presidential candidate?
So a few things on the topic. I actually don't think it's gonna end up happening. But to say it is one thing, and also like to have the fame and everything, but then to actually run for president is a whole nother.
Also, he's done this in the past, like hitting
Right,
on your
right, right.
point where
That's a good point. And also, it's putting a lot of trust in American society, but I would hope that they would not vote for Kanye West. I'm not saying he's a bad person or anything. I just don't think that he would make a good president.
well, what do you think qualifies someone to be a good president? Like in this 2020 upcoming election, we're almost 100 days away. The characteristics of Joe Biden and President Trump are very, very different. What
Right.
do you think? Which character?
So I personally don't like. I'm not a supporter of either of them, but yeah, that's basically my opinion on this election. The past two elections, actually, I haven't had much of an opinion. That's just I don't know the way it
Right, that's
was.
the problem. A bunch of Americans, you're not the only one. Everyone is really in limbo because they aren't so appealing to the American
Right.
citizens.
Yeah,
There
like the
are,
values they stand for. That's yeah.
and I don't mean to criticize President Trump or Joe Biden, but their age, the American people, I just feel that we would be so much more fit as a country with a 40-year-old or 50-year-old
Well, I
man,
mean,
a man or woman,
I disagree with
you
that.
know?
I don't think that has anything to do with anything. I think that it's more like just like it's nothing like they're just like the values that they stand for. I don't know. You know,
But
who do
you
you?
don't think that if they are younger, their values will be different? I think that
I think that has
America
nothing to do with
needs
anything.
a
I think
younger perspective,
no.
modern perspective.
I think that has literally nothing to do with anything. That if you could be 75 or 80 or 60 or whatever the age and have good values, or you could have bad values. I think that's completely irrelevant.
I don't know. I just feel like it would be more of like a shared. I don't know. I just feel like you can reach more voters because I've been speaking to a bunch of people who are saying that they don't even know if they're gonna vote.
Right? Yeah,
So if
maybe.
we had a younger alternative, maybe
Right.
it would
So
reach the voters more.
where do you stand on Trump Biden?
Well, I think that everyone in the news and even I just see on Twitter that everyone's like, "Oh, Biden's latest gaffer, and Biden messes up on this." It shows that it's I don't know the way that President Trump has handled the pandemic and the way that he has handled his presidency has almost me like looking into Biden, even though he's making all these making all these mistakes and stuff. Trump had. I'm not blaming him 100%. It's not his fault, but there's 120,000 Americans dead, and he was in South Dakota on July
You
4th weekend with
you
a
say you're not
crowd with
blaming
no
him, but
mask.
then you say you're not blaming him, but then you proceed to use it against him in his
Because he's
votes.
not. I'm saying he's not responsible for every death, but he seems to say, "Oh, masks are not required. You don't have to wear them." When his top infectious disease doctors are saying wear a mask, he
Right.
refuses to do so. So if someone like Joe Biden was leading the country and actually looked at the handbook that former President Obama handed to them, it
Right.
would have been a different
I don't
situation.
remember the exact details, but recently Trump said something like about the coronavirus and one of the like top infectious disease doctors like came out and like said like no, like I'm not supporting that, like he's wrong. You know, just something to think about.
Now into sports. The Washington Redskins were founded in 1932 as the Boston Braves. The team changed its name to the Redskins in 1933, and then in 1937, the team relocated to Washington, D.C., forming their name, the Washington Redskins. The Redskins have always been under fire and pressure to change their name. As we reach the 87th year of the Redskins name and the wake of the recent racist incidents in America and really around the world, pressure is really mounting on the Redskins, their ownership, to change their name.
Yeah, so
So, what do you think on that?
that the last point you said about pressure is very important because like their top sponsors are saying like oh like we don't support the name, we don't, the entire public are saying like speaking out against them, all this stuff. I think pressure is like you said at the end is mounting to change their name is one of the biggest factors. Like Nike is their sponsor, spoke out against their name, all this stuff is really is important into the factor of changing the name. So that poses the question
Right.
is, should the Redskins change their name?
I know you're going to disagree with this, but I feel like it almost doesn't mean anything if they change it now. Obviously, it means a lot, but like it doesn't mean anything because it seems that they didn't do it out of like wanting to take a stand. They're doing it out of like they want money. They want their sponsors. They want their support. So I feel like once Nike pulled their their name from their website online a week or two ago, they started realizing we need to change. So I feel like it could play a role in them changing them, which I think is pretty disgusting. Obviously, I can't speak for the Redskins. I'm not the owner or the coach, but I just feel that it takes them to lose money to realize, oh wow, we need to do something.
I mean, I think that's a good point. I think that is probably one of the biggest factors in them changing their name. But I think that it's also pressure from the public, and I would hope making them also realize that it's wrong also. But I do think also better late than never. First of all, second of all, but I do think you're right actually a little bit.
Right, like also The Bachelor picked the first black bachelor, and that's really amazing. But I feel like that bachelor might not feel that
Well,
he was
so
really
I
chosen.
disagree
They
though. So
couldn't
now,
really want to pick the
but I'm saying now you're saying that about every change ever. I mean now like Band-Aid made darker colored Band-Aids, so what, they should keep the white ones? Like that, is that what you're suggesting? Like I think that at least they have it.
right. I guess so. I just I just am very I don't know. It
Skeptical.
changes my opinion on stuff when it takes like someone to be
But I
killed
mean
by
that's
police in
what
protest.
that's what all these protests are about, are speaking out for change.
Right. So that's why I think it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Just saying it's
You're just questioning the
interesting.
motives. I
They're
got you.
100 years of Band-Aid and they didn't
Yeah.
do anything till now.
Right, right. So, on the topic of sports, soccer, in the past couple of years has introduced something called VAR, Video Assistant Referee. This has caused major controversy because it has done. It's not like instant replay in football where the referee goes over and looks at it and does it himself. Like, it's a computer, so it'll line up the two lines next to each other, and like it like the decision will be made, like the human wouldn't be able to do it by himself. So it'll be like the slightest mistake, and they'll change it. And the definition of this VAR was that it would be clear and obvious errors, which hasn't really been stuck to by soccer. Which leads to the question: should soccer have VAR? What do you think it is?
Well, I think that as someone who's seen soccer and watched a bunch of games, they do make mistakes, and a lot more. It's like much more helpful for the ref to really get like a second eye on everything. And I know sometimes it's gonna make that like extra error. Oh, his foot was off the line. He's offside. I think that it could be used well. Maybe if we tell like the refs don't make that call. You
I
know what I
mean,
mean? Like if it's not exact. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
What do you think?
I think that VAR, it's great and everything, but maybe I feel like to take it down a notch, it would be perfect. I think they'd have it like perfectly in the right amount of like VAR-ness. I don't know what the word is. um, now I feel like it's like a little too much with the VAR. Like everything is under review. Like all of this is like the slightest of this is like every tiny thing is being
You're
reviewed,
saying
and
it's like too overprotective?
yeah, and every tiny thing is being overturned, and every time, like, that's just not how the game is meant to be played. First of all, and second of all, it's for clear and obvious errors is what I think it should be used for.
Right. So there definitely should be a change, like in the
Right.
training and how it's used.
Right, and that's the third episode of the Younger Half podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Follow us on Instagram at the Younger Half and all of the podcasting platforms at the Younger Half. Thank you. Have a great day.